more abundantly.
Yes, sir.
I am the good shepherd. Good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Verse 19. There was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. And many of them said, He hath the devil, and is mad. Why hear ye him? Others said, These are not the words of him that hath a devil. Can a devil open the eyes of the blind?
No, sir.
And it was at Jerusalem that the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came Jesus round about and said unto him, How long hast thou made us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly. Jesus answered them, I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. That's right. Do thank God for the reading of his word. We use for a subject. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Repeat that if you would. Where is
the
evidence?
The evidence.
The book of John has been said by many to be the deepest and most spiritual book in the Bible. It is where Jesus gives a more complete revelation of himself and of God. So as we look at the book of John this morning, we find out that God has been dealing with or performing miracles before the Pharisees and many of the critics. When I say God, I'm talking about Jesus. This morning I want to talk to you about the evidence of your salvation.
Yes.
I'm not here to question anybody's confession, but that's not my job. But I want to let you know, if you are saved, there ought to be some evidence. I'm going to say that one more time. If you are saved, there ought to be some evidence. Evidence gives credibility to the statement that one makes. If you say you love somebody, there ought to be some evidence that you love them. Words are not merely enough. Ladies, you would love for your husband or your man to prove that he loves you. Words don't always get it. So, in other words, again, if there is love there ought to be some evidence. If there is salvation there ought to be some evidence. If you are a chef and you were to go and to apply for a job at a fine restaurant, instead of just taking your word that you're a chef, they're going to check your credentials.
Amen.
They may check your credentials. They're going to find out where you used to work. To find out if you can prepare certain meals if you say you're a chef. Truth be known, a chef is one that has gone to school and gotten a degree. They are well schooled in the art of culinary art. And many of us, we say that we're cooks. But even a cook needs to have some evidence. I'll say that again. Some of us say we're cooks. But to be a cook, you got to have some evidence. If you're the only one who want to eat your food, you're really not a cook.
All right.
But there has to be some evidence. And so as we look at the cook, as we look at the chef, there's also those that call themselves doctors. If you're going to go to a hospital and get a job as a doctor, as a physician, they're going to, again, check your credentials. They're going to find out where you work, what kind of specialties you have. Again, they're trying to find out some evidence that you are a doctor. They're not just going to take your word for it.
No, sir.
And so when we look at it, the job of a doctor or the job of a chef, again, you have to have some credibility. You have to have some evidence. But oftentimes, these credentials can be faked. I'll say that again. Oftentimes, these credentials can be faked. If you say you're a chef and they run a background check and somehow you fix the system where they will think you're a chef, then quite possibly you'll get along for a while as a chef. If you say you're a doctor and you have fixed it to the point that your credentials have been verified, but you really don't have a degree, quite possibly you can get by on those credentials. But eventually the truth is going to come out. Well, when it comes to salvation, you can make a confession. You can say you're saved. We can say we're saved. But eventually the truth will come out. You can live a lie for a while, but eventually the truth is going to come out. So as we look at it, here, we're talking about how salvation is different, again, than your job that you might apply for. Salvation, again, is, as we said on maybe a couple of weeks ago, salvation is free, but it's not cheap. It's going to cost you something. We talked about on this morning during Sunday school, when we're saved, when we've been born again, we have to have some sacrifices. As we pointed out, if whatever you sacrifice is not important to you, then it's not important to God. When you're saved, you're going to have to be willing to give up some things. I can't get a good amen. So as we look at it, even Jesus gave evidence of who he was. When we look at the text, when they questioned his identity, when they questioned his ability, here in 24